Hello, my name is Tom.
And I'm Heather.
And you're sitting at the couples table.
The Couples Table is a live stream podcast here on my YouTube channel. Join us for better or worse.
For richer or poor.
In sickness and in health.
As long as we both shall live.
Yay. Oh, it's perfect.
Great. Terrific.
Okay.
Terrific.
We have to test it every time.
I know. You know what? It's the
fine.
charm. It's part of the charm of our show.
Yes, it's all planned.
Yes.
The planned charm.
So, hello, everybody.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you? Sorry.
You didn't answer my question.
I'm doing great.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were doing great. I had some misconceptions.
It's just a long day. Oh, you know what? So we have a couple of announcements.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have some business to jump into off the top here.
So let's start off with some announcements. First announcement is tomorrow is Tom's birthday. Where is it? Where's the sound effect?
You can. I don't have the sound effects.
Oh, come on.
Sorry. Wait, here we go. I can fix it. There we go.
Yeah, the big 3-5.
Woof.
Woof.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. not super psyched, but it's all right. But more importantly, actually, than my birthday tomorrow, because that's tomorrow. We're not even going to be live streaming. So, like, if we don't live stream, does it even happen? Today, this very day, which I guess would be right early in the morning, like greeting the
5
day.
5 a.m.
Wait.
His 5 a.m.
It's December 4th.
Do you guys have the same birthday?
Wait a minute.
Anyway, it's Seif's birthday. Woo, 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 woo. Yay. Do you guys have the same birthday? How crazy.
Wait, yeah. I just realized that because of time zones, we might actually have the same birthday, which would be kind of cool. So to see if is yours the 3rd or the 4th, I'm super interested to find out. I do know that the 4th, I believe I share it with Jay-Z. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I learned that when I worked at the TV station when I was younger, because every day the Associated Press...
That is a name I haven't heard in a very long time.
Well, this is a story from 2003. So every day the Associated Press would put out a list of like notable birthdays today and historical facts and things. And that was one of them.
Okay, so that was the second announcement. His is December 3rd.
Oh, well, that means it's actually
cool.
Today, though. Even better.
Yes.
So.
All right, and the last announcement I have is a message that we got from a podcast called the 29 Podcast, and I want to shout him out. I'm going to read a part of the message he sent me because I think it's really cool. I won't read all of it because I don't think he knows that I'm going to read this.
It's got a bunch of bank account info and stuff in it.
Let's see. Having seen the Couples Table in June gave me the spark and power to get moving and do what I really wanted to do. Since then, I've launched a blog, warsing.org, a quiz trivia channel, and a cycling podcast, Bike Trails. I have an upcoming January 2021 interview podcast, Stories and Voices. Nobody can know for sure, but I believe that if I hadn't seen your show, I wouldn't have had the spark to get myself going.
That's kind of amazing.
He's seen every episode of the Couples Table.
Binge worthy. That's such a nice message. Thank you. So, and it goes into more like details and stuff, but that was really like.
I don't know what your name is because you didn't leave it, but the 29 Podcast, that makes us feel really good. And we're so happy that we can inspire you in some way. And I think that's what.
Just to play any kind of role in something somebody else is doing is kind of awesome.
That's so cool. And I would be very excited to check out your podcast.
Speaking of sharing roles, Ron says he shares his birthday with Michael Jackson, but it's all his now.
Why is it blue?
I don't know. Somehow, is it because he's a moderator?
Oh.
Because Jessica says, no, they're all blue now. I must have changed
a
setting
the
in
font.
eCam. That's cool. Branding.
All right.
Well, do we want to jump into our topic?
Yeah, we got to jump in because we might have to, aren't we going to like invite people if they want to talk about their misconceptions?
Yeah, sure. Why not? If we want to.
Okay, so let's talk about
what we're talking about.
Yes.
This is something we've actually been trying to do for the past few weeks, but we've had like technical issues and then holidays. It just didn't feel like Thanksgiving week podcast. It just, the topic didn't fit. Weeks ago, Heather and I were having a discussion about just groups of people and how when you belong to a group, you just sort of fall in with the blanket identity of the group. Mm-hmm. All the people who do this are this way. Everyone who does this is that way. And obviously, that's not, there's probably shades of truth to it, maybe, but it's not 100% accurate in terms of painting a picture of who you are. Mm-hmm. And so, if you find somebody who's a member of a group, oftentimes if you actually sat down and talked to them or got to know them, you could probably find some common ground, probably like...
I would say definitely.
You could probably find more in common than not in common.
Yes.
So that was kind of... And then we started thinking, this could apply to huge groups like big political affiliations. Obviously, we started having this discussion a few weeks ago, like when the U.S. election was... originally first started happening the first time it happened but it carries over into like everything else. And so Heather and I were kind of going into all the different things that people can belong to and groups they can identify with, and then the misconceptions that pop up around those. And so we wanted to share just some things, just sort of talk about it, like, hey, I'm part of this group. People oftentimes think this, but did you know that? And that can be silly and goofy, that can be serious. It doesn't matter. But we have some that we'd like to share, but we'd really love to hear others either in the chat or if you want to.
Yeah, I think like the goal is for us to learn more about you as well, because we can talk about like the misconceptions that people have about us all day long. But I think, I'd love to hear from other people, mm-hmm. like what are your perspectives? And it's so funny because I had this thought when I was scrolling through Twitter earlier today, because I feel like every time I go on Twitter, I always leave with a feeling. I've gotten better at like trying not to follow certain things or trying not to tap on what's trending, because I always have a yucky feeling after. But I hate how everyone always assumes the worst in people. Like you read a comment and every single comment that you've ever read from someone who identifies with that same group, you just cast it on them. And I know I have a tendency to do that. I think it's just normal, but right. Like I just wish people did a better job of assuming the best, like, I don't know.
Assuming positive intent. Or...
Yeah. Like
it can be tricky, some Twitter specifically, because they just said the thing, but
I know.
Yeah.
Well, world peace.
Yay.
Anyway, so let's check in with the comments. Are we going to start to Steve Cast? I do not have camera hair on. I never have camera hair on. That's why I made it part of my brand to wear a hat.
That's smart. Very, very smart.
Yes. Okay. I have a lot to say about how people view digital artists. Ooh, I feel like that's going to be a good one.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Because any kind of art, people are just sort of, I don't know. I'll pay you an exposure.
No, it's like, it's so easy for you to just make that change.
Yeah, just
go click, click, click.
Just real quick. That's my... When I worked as a graphic artist, that was my least favorite thing to hear. Okay, just real quick. Can you do this just real quick? That's like 8 hours. There is no just real quick. I know I'm so good. I make it look easy. But yeah, we'd love to hear that.
So if you...
we can try to do a call-in thing. I'm semi sure that there might not be an echo.
Oh, okay. But, well, you can talk to us in the comments also.
Yeah.
But
and we can try it if you don't mind me figuring out an echo for 5 minutes or 5 seconds. We can figure it out.
You whatever you want, babe. It's your podcast. It's our podcast.
It's my podcast. You just said so. You gave me the rights in perpetuity. So let's kick it off here with you.
Okay, let's kick it off. What?
Yeah. I like the look of shock. What is something, a group you belong to, that there might be some misconceptions about?
Oh, I can't think of any off the top of my head. I know. I'm tired. Okay,
female content creator, woman of color, lottery winner. Well, sort of. Entrepreneur. There's so many. Here, I'll go simple.
Yeah, you go first.
Sure. I don't eat meat. So there's a lot of misconceptions that come with that right away. Most of which are fairly harmless, especially, I think we talked about this last week even, but like, you're from California, you don't eat meat, you must be living that healthy California lifestyle. Like, not necessarily. But then people like lose their minds over, what can you eat? What can't you eat? You must be so picky about food. We talked about this in the Thanksgiving episode where like the last thing I would want to do is actually like impose a dietary thing on anybody. And so there's no pickiness there. Also, vegetarian food. Like, I just ate a Philly cheesesteak burrito as my pregame meal. Not super healthy, but plant-based and delicious. So, people think like, just because it's vegetarian, just because you're vegetarian, you're so healthy, things are healthy. And it's not automatically the case. Oreos are vegan. When I worked at Trader Joe's back in college, Trader Joe's has a big, beautiful wall of salads. And it's crazy because people are like, oh, I'm going to eat light. I'm going to eat a salad. There's just the assumption that the salad is healthy. And some of them are, but most of them are actually not at all. That's why they taste so good. They're like 1,100 calories, 1,200 calories, like if you actually read the thing. And I would watch people coming in on their lunch break, grab a salad to have a healthy lunch. And I'm like, you're eating like 2 Big Macs right now, but you think that you had a light lunch. And it's kind of the same thing. We're like, just because there's green in it, it's healthy. And just because you're vegetarian, you're healthy. Not necessarily. And you're not necessarily a vegetarian for health reasons. You're not necessarily a vegetarian for animal reasons. Like everybody, there can be a group of people. We are people who don't eat meat, but it could be environmental. It could be animal related. It could be dietary health related. It could be a combination of all those things. The end result is kind of the same, but the reason for it is different.
I just have 2.
Cool.
Okay. So this is such a strange memory. And I don't even know if it's like something, I don't know, whatever. I'll just explain it. Okay.
It's your show.
This happened 10 years ago.
Okay.
I was in my mid-20s. I don't remember exactly what age it was because I don't have the best memory. But I was in Vegas with my girlfriends.
Okay.
Heather in her 20s is a very different Heather.
Vegas Heather in her 20s.
Is a crazy girl, okay? She loves to drink. She loves to go clubbing. Definitely like the skimpy dress with super high heels, like completely done up. That was me. And I loved dressing up and going out with my girlfriends, and we were just having fun. Whatever. That was me. And I own that, and I'm happy about it. And I have no shame. I think I'm pretty sure if you didn't know who we were and you looked at us, you can immediately just judge us based off of how we looked when we were going to the club. Mm-hmm. But I remember when we were walking one night, like these 2 older ladies were maybe like, they were like kind of behind us, but I could still hear what they were saying. And they were talking about like me and my girlfriends, and they were saying like, gosh, look, basically calling us sluts. Like, look at those sluts. Like, they kind of like don't look like sluts, but they kind of are sluts because look at what they're wearing. And like, they just picked us apart. Wow. And they said like, oh, I wonder what it's like to only think about guys all the time. Or I wonder what it's like to only like to think about,
How old are these older ladies?
I don't know. Like just older.
Okay.
I don't know, 40s. I don't know.
Are you their age now? But
yeah, it was very like, I remember feeling just like, I've done nothing. This lady knows absolutely nothing about me. And immediately she's painted this picture just on how I look. And I know how I look. And
but it's how you're dressed for one night.
Yeah. And I remember that memory has stuck with me because I just remember feeling like I've been painted in this like very negative light for literally standing here and not doing anything. I don't know. So I don't know. But she went on to like, and all they do is go to clubs and like, that's all they care about and whatever. And I was working at a nonprofit at the time. I straight up wanted to be like, yo. Like, I literally work at a nonprofit for seniors, citizens. Okay. Like, I help manage programs to support what's going to be your age group soon.
But a lot of that, I think, this could be a misconception about those people's misconceptions, but I think a lot of that in those kinds of cases, and maybe in general, it comes from insecurity, because I know, having never been like, obviously I'm not wearing skimpy dresses or anything, but having never been like in that crowd, I have always, or, you know, like in my 20s or whatever, felt very intimidated by people who are a part of that crowd. You just don't want to get in their way. You don't want to do, it's intimidating. And it's kind of easy to then go, oh, well, they're just so this, or they're just so that. Yeah, they're just thinking about.
And I was like, no,
they're just, and it's just sort of easy, because then you don't have to feel like, oh, they're, you know, beautiful, having fun, also super smart, like, and I'm just over here struggling to like crawl my way through life. And I think a lot of that comes from insecurity, and it took me a lot longer than I would want to kind of recognize about myself, is that sometimes, you know, it's almost like feelings of jealousy are rooted in insecurity a lot. And I think that can be the case. So they might have just been having,
like, I've never been so outright judged in my face.
Right. I mean, they didn't know.
I mean, I have, but that one really stuck out to me. Like, it lingered, obviously, 10 years linger.
Wow.
10 years linger. So
I
anyway,
never heard that story.
I know. I don't know why I just thought of it. So here's another one.
Okay.
That I think a lot of us can relate to. Maybe you can relate to this. I've told you this story.
Okay.
I was working at a WeWork, which is a co-working space. Like, I don't know, this must have been 2 years ago. I was working at a WeWork, like, as I was making this vlog. So I have plenty of vlogs at that WeWork. But anyway, I moved in. I was in the common area where you kind of just set up shop wherever there's space in the like tables in the common area. But then I ended up rooming in with someone else who was at WeWork, and we like got in on a 2-person office together, and we shared a wall with a they were called Redfin. They're real estate, like, I don't know, do you know how to describe them? They're like a real estate, like,
it's a realty company.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. And the walls in WeWork between the offices are glass. So like you can totally hear everything.
No glass ceilings at WeWork.
One of the biggest complaints of WeWork was like it's glass walls, so you can hear everything. Phone calls, conversations, like the pencil, everything. And Redfin, I'm going to try to say this without creating misconceptions about them. That Redfin was very, like, everyone was like a middle-aged woman
just
from the OC.
Moms.
Yeah, like they just were. I'm not like they literally were. Yeah, I'm not saying like that in a judgy way. They just were. And one thing I noticed about them was that they spend a lot of time talking about a lot of people, like talking about people. And I don't like to do that. Like I don't think that's a good thing. I think it says a lot about you if you're talking about other people and not like what you're working on and what you have going on in your life, or like what, I'm always curious. I'm always asking people like, what are you doing? Especially there. It was like everyone was a different company and had different projects and stuff. Anyway, all they did was like gossip.
Continue talking about these people.
Anyway, one day I was like working late, so it was just me and like the women in this office, and like my office mate wasn't there, and everyone else was gone and was late, so it was just me. And I think I was editing, so I was in the middle of like working on this video, and I just had a lot on my mind, and because I was editing, I was listening to what I was editing, and I had my headphones on. But of course, like when I'm not, when I'm paused,
it's just silence.
It's just silence, right? And at some point, I realized that the ladies on the other side of the glass had been talking about someone for quite a while, and then that person was me. And I couldn't believe it, because they were saying like, oh, she thinks she's so good because she keeps recording herself, and like she thinks like, oh, she's gonna have a YouTube channel, she's trying to be this YouTuber. Like, how weird is it that she just records herself and just takes selfies all day? And I didn't realize that they were talking about me until, I don't know, there's something about their conversation that made me like, it was like I was in shock that they had gone on and on and on about this crazy girl, and that girl was me. And I was like, how the hell do you have some balls saying this with me right here? Like, how crazy is that?
It's pretty. I don't know. I've never found myself in that
And like
situation.
when I realized it was me, I started shaking because I was like, what do I do? Like, they're like, it's glass windows. They're gonna have to pass by me at some point. I don't want to make eye contact.
What a nightmare scenario. I mean, you could take the power move and just face the glass.
And from what I remember, I didn't realize this until like way later. Okay, so this is in the span of like an hour.
Wow. And
like, I think one of them had gone to the bathroom, so I had gone to the bathroom too, and I said hi in the bathroom and everything, and then like they went, it was just a mess. So anyway,
I just saw her in the bathroom and she thinks she's so great. She was washing her hands. Who does you think she is? Wow. So the misconception there
is like, YouTubers, I guess.
You just take selfies all day.
Yeah, and I think like the thing that upsets me is like you don't even know me. Like, you have given me no chance to explain myself. And the more disappointing part is that you don't even want to try.
Right.
And for some reason I matter enough to you in a way where you have formed opinions about me. And
yeah. Well, the reality wouldn't be as exciting as the
because I'm boring as hell.
No, it's like, oh, she's like a multifaceted person with different interests and things.
I don't know.
That's not as exciting.
So anyway,
those are great stories.
Were they?
Yes. I loved hearing them. And I saw the comments going a little bit crazy. I wanted to highlight Mike Mina.
Mike.
Thank you for supporting Heather. Thank you for supporting me. And also, I've seen you around on like just some other channels that I watch. Mike's always commenting. It's great. I think people assume I have a lot of energy based on what they see from me on YouTube. And people say, oh, you are normal.
Oh,
and they seem so disappointed.
That sucks.
You're like, yeah, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm a teacher. Like, prior to COVID, if a student, saw you at the grocery store on the weekend wearing shorts or something, it was like, you exist outside of these buildings? Yes, I do. Let's see here. Ron is talking to Jessica about digital art. I have nothing to say right now. I'm trying to get my head around someone I know just being announced as one of the casts in Disney Plus Hawkeye show.
Oh, I didn't know he was getting his own show. That's cool.
That is pretty cool. And Dominic said he is not eating a hamburger while I was talking about not eating meat. You eat the burger. It's fine. I'm not judging over here. We got Philip Bridges saying hello. Dusif, welcome. We had a nice welcoming committee. Dolly Llamas T. Yeah, see, they were just jealous. You should have addressed them.
There's no way.
That's the first story.
Yeah.
Not the OC
like,
wine
you
mom.
guys, I hate confrontation. I'm trying to get better at communicating.
Who were you with?
I don't...
Because if you remember Heather's friend Suyan, who was here a few weeks ago,
100% she would have said something.
There's no way you were with her.
Yeah, I don't. And if I was with my other best friend Shirley, there's no way. Like, I would be the one to say something before she did. So
I think Tusif is right. Heather was too hot for them. They're just jealous. And now I'm married to her. Take that, judgy ladies.
I wish you were with me that night.
I feel like Jessica might have said something. She said, how much restraint I would have to not go up to them and say, I heard you, and wish you would say it to my face next time.
Well, but
and then you spit at them.
The thing is, like, I don't want to fight you or anything. Like, I'm not trying to prove anything,
It's almost more of just like, I've done this with students actually, because there are times when it's like the end of like lunch or something and my classroom is closed and the bell's about to ring, and sometimes near the doorway like kids will hang out.
Yeah.
And as I go to, open the door for passing period, they're like having conversations kind of loudly on the other side of the door, and I can hear them. And one of them, I think I was like working on something near the door, and I heard one of my students just sort of saying like, yeah, I just wish he would like blah, blah, blah. They were just kind of like complaining about my class a little bit and very loudly outside my classroom door. And then the bell rang and I opened the door and I was like, just so you know, if you want to complain about someone, it's usually a good idea not to do it near the area where they work and stuff. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
God, that's so...
Just good things to be aware of there, buddy. Jared Spink is here. Hey,
What's up, Jared?
Jared's going to be on my podcast
Whoop, whoop.
this upcoming Monday. So
check it out.
It was a super fun conversation that we had. I don't remember when because time is irrelevant now, but at some point, like yesterday or the day before, kind of crazy. We've got Asar Law Group. My channel content would have to be significantly different if it wasn't for misconceptions about lawyers, right? I mean, that's true. That's kind of the...
Yeah.
Yeah, so Amir, I mean, go check out his channel, of course. But he has such a great way of phrasing it because he's an attorney. He has a YouTube channel. When people think of lawyers, they have lots of misconceptions about lawyers. But Amir always says when you're a kid, you know, if you're a young boy, people say, "Oh, you be a lawyer, you could go into law."
Yeah, it's like this superhero job.
And if it seems like this is a thing mostly for that girls experience, but you know, you're younger, you're dating, oh, you could date a lawyer, you can marry a lawyer. But then if like somebody in the world is a lawyer, it's always like, oh, they're just so slimy and so greedy and whatever. But then as soon as you need help, I gotta get a good lawyer. Like that is a tough one.
Yeah.
Lawyers have it. You're in a real like weird, almost lose-lose situation because it's kind of like teachers, you know, like it's always the teacher problem.
Yep. Dominic.
What did Dominic say?
Hey, Kissa.
I can imagine. I was so uncomfortable, but it was just one of those things because it wasn't. I'm open to valid complaints, but you know, but I always tell my students like, hey, if we're doing something and you don't like even see the purpose in it, just politely ask me, hey, Mr. Buck, why are we doing this thing? Or like, how does this connect to whatever? And I'll tell you, and I always tell them like, if I can't answer that question, we really shouldn't be doing this thing because then it's pointless. And, you know, obviously there's not, you know, there's just personality things, but this was like a student that I really liked that had been in my class for several years. And it was just sort of like the complaints were just, I don't know. It was like, it just felt like sort of bratty, spoiled kid complaints, not so much like substantive complaints. Yeah.
I thought of another one.
Oh, I mean, I would love to hear the. Oh wait, Ron was married to a lawyer.
Ooh, dun, dun, dun.
Sure. If I had the Law and Order sound effect, I'd play it right now.
So, okay. I don't know what the misconceptions are, but I had a label put on me that I was unfamiliar with. Also in Vegas.
Okay.
I went to Vegas a lot.
You sure?
So I was in Vegas with my Asian friends. Like they just happen to be. It's not like I only am friends with Asians, but that's just how it turned out.
Although I did literally ask you that when we. Because okay.
So misconception.
Anyway, go to misconception.
Asians are not only friends with Asians, okay?
It's true, but when I met Heather and then I was meeting all our friends, there's in the inner circle of friends and significant others, there is one other white guy. I mean, one other non-Asian person. It happens to be another white guy. And I did ask because I was just curious because it's clearly like there's no racist thing. It's not like you guys sit around talking about whitey or something or like. It's just, but I was so curious because I was like, did you guys like seek each other out or is this a thing? And I mean, the explanation is like, well, we went to a college that is predominantly Asian and then that's just the people that you hang out with. Like,
yeah.
It just is what it is. And now those are my friends because they were my friends. Pretty simple, but I remember asking you that specifically.
So anyway, we were in an elevator on the Strip and we're all Asian. There's 4 of us in the elevator, and a guy comes in, and he's like happy. He's excited. Cool. He's like, you know, amped, and we're excited because the night's just about to get started. And he's like, "So, are you guys here for the convention?" And we were like, "No. What convention is it? Whatever, small talk." And he goes, "So, are you guys Oriental?" And literally, my first thing was, like the rug
of the Orient?
Yeah, like exactly. Where is that?
I mean, I don't know where Caucasia is, but
it was just like I've never heard that.
That's an old school term. Was it an older guy?
Not as old
as you would think.
Yeah,
to use the term.
which makes me think like for you to even point it out and to use that word, do you never see Asian people?
It's gotta be. They must be from.
I mean, it's not crazy, but like it's crazy to me that you know.
I mean, there's a thing I can tell you. Here's actually a great one too. The first time I went to New York City, I felt so silly for like being surprised by this. So I was 23. First time I went to New York City, old enough to know better than this. I'm on the subway, bunch of people around. New York's obviously a very diverse place, and I was shocked several times when there were white people that didn't speak English, which sounds really strange, but I mean, there's every language there. But I have grown up in Southern California. I've grown up like in predominantly Hispanic communities my whole life. Like I've been the minority my whole life, and so what I'm just used to is like everybody in my community speaks Spanish. The majority of people speak English, and the majority of white people don't speak Spanish. That's just sort of been like where it is. So it's just always been, it's just sort of been a thing that I didn't even realize was there. That like if someone kind of looked like me, I'd be able to say like, oh, you know, can you tell me where this thing is or whatever, talk to them. And then I totally couldn't. And that was like, it was just, I was like, wow, my little
What language
world.
were they speaking?
I mean, there's tons. You know, I was there for days, so it was lots of like Northern European languages, lots of, you know, I don't know. I feel like Russian was a big one, but I was just like, wow, I am so in need of being on the subway right now because that was a good lesson.
Okay, let's see. Where did we
Jumping back into the comments? Jared was asking about Black Friday deals.
So anyone get anything fun on Black Friday?
There's definitely misconceptions about that because all of my students on Monday when school started again, like, you know, on Zoom, they're like, Mr. Buck, what'd you get for Black Friday? Black Friday, did you get Black Friday thing? And I was like, I actually didn't get like anything, but I guess because of who I am and what I do, they're just assuming I bought everything on Black Friday.
My neighborhood is predominantly Hispanic Latino, so I had a lot of friends like that. Everything changed when I went to college, though. I made friends with all kinds of people.
Yeah, I mean, you know, college is a different there's Ron coming in on your story.
Oriental, geez, that's nowhere near as bad as the racial terms I was taught at school. I can't even repeat them here. And they were on the actual syllabus. Not anymore, I think, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely like...
I mean, it was not like offensive, you know, he was making small talk.
Yeah,
but it was just so, like, I would never ask someone, like, are you white? Or, like, I don't know. It was just so weird. I mean, well, okay, hold on. I take that back. Among my Asian friends, it's very common to ask, like, are you Korean? Are you Chinese? Are you Vietnamese? Like that. We asked each other that all the time. But, like, I don't know.
I mean, that makes sense, I guess. It just reminds me of... I've told you this, and if anyone has watched like King of the Hill from back in the day, when the series first started and Khan and his family moved in next door, they're a Laotian family, and they moved into a Texan neighborhood, and they're talking to like Hank and all his friends.
Oh, you told me this.
Yeah, and they're like, so are you Chinese or Japanese? And he's like, we're from Laos, like we're Laotian from Laos. And he's like, so you're Chinese or Japanese? That was kind of like about the understanding of Asian ethnicities that I grew up with was, is it Chinese or Japanese? That's it. But it kind of made me feel better as I got to know. I mean, like I had Asian friends growing up, but it wasn't, they were the minority. And so it kind of was interesting. You're like, oh, like it's sort of a thing to ask where somebody's from and what your heritage is and what your ethnicity is. That was actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't even necessarily matter, but it just sort of like calibrates. You can calibrate your experience just like you could anything, you know, beyond like Asian or whatever. But, you know, if you grew up with someone of a certain age, if you grew up with someone of a certain ethnicity, whatever, you just sort of can assume, oh, we might have had these similar experiences like Jared. My favorite moment in our podcast we talked about. So we found out we're about a year apart in age. We didn't grow up in the same place, but we both won the exact same
so crazy
photo contest in like the second grade, which was like sponsored by Kodak/Kmart. And we both won and had our pictures on display at our local Kmart. And we got like a little Kodak camera. And it was just really funny. But then through that going like, okay, you know, talking to Jared, you got into cameras and stuff around that age. And knowing then that means in middle school, this kind of stuff was popular. In high school, this kind of stuff was popular. I immediately, without him having to tell me, knew like, okay, skate videos and skate photos were a thing. And, you know, not being able to edit video on a computer until middle to late high school was like that kind of stuff. We just kind of calibrated based on the fact that we were part of this one group. But those weren't misconceptions. Those are just conceptions.
So you're about to turn 35.
Oh, God.
Millennial is a big... There's a lot there.
Oh, misconceptions. Well, one is that millennials are kids when like they're in their 40s now.
I know.
But it's just like the blanket term.
Houses and families and...
It's the blanket term. I think when someone says millennial, they just mean like young, you know, late teen, early 20s. That's a millennial, even though...
Like, do not put me in the same category as a freaking 18-year-old, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, someone with... Like, millennials can have kids in high school now.
Wait. Oh, yeah.
Because also,
I thought you were saying like 18-year-old can have kids in high school. I'm like, yeah, but we don't want them to, right?
Oh, no. Sorry. That was bad grammar on my part then. Ambiguous language on my part.
I mean, if you want to, that's fine. But
don't.
There has to be. I don't know what they are, but we are not having kids.
Oh, Lord. Yes. I mean, we did a whole episode. I think it was like our third episode of this show was all about not having kids. And huge...
I got messages.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you not tell me?
No, I think I told you.
Okay. It was like you had to have told me.
Yeah.
But huge misconceptions about that. I mean, the biggest one there is that, well, you must hate kids.
Yeah, no.
I'm a teacher. That's kind of the reason also I don't want to have kids. But like, no, I don't hate kids. I just like don't want to have my own kids.
Yeah.
It's different.
I don't want to raise kids.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to raise kids and I don't want to give birth.
But there we go. And then, I mean, are there other misconceptions too? Like, especially, I think it's easier for a guy. Maybe that's.
I mean, I think the misconception, especially for women, is like, you know, it's nature for you to give birth. Like your whole body is built to do that. So for you to not do that, there must be something wrong.
Well, and then the other, I guess this is a version of a misconception of that would be that if you don't have kids, then your life is empty. You're missing out on something. You're, you know, devoid of meaning or whatever. And it's like that everybody's got their own reasons and purposes and things, but you can have a very meaningful life without having to like bring another person into it to give it meaning. Like, if the only reason someone else exists is to give my life meaning, I don't know if that's the best reason. And I'm going to stop talking before I get in trouble.
Let's see. I'm Mexican. I used to be in a cultural club in college, and everyone was very proud of their roots, and were bothered people mistakenly assumed only Mexican existed. Central America is real, USA.
Well, also, I am white, and that is one, that's very ambiguous. So let's talk about misconceptions. Let's talk about misconceptions of straight white men, the plight of the straight white man. But I mean, that right there, like, oh, you're white, that's it. And it's like, what does that mean? Like, I was talking about New York City. You said, what languages are they? Well, there's Northern European, there's Russian, you could be from Spain, you could be from Croatia, you could be from England, you could be from, like, it's very broad. You could be from different places in the United States and any skin color and have a totally different experience. But I think that there are definitely misconceptions about white people, especially in terms of means and things. And I am fully happy to recognize that there could be advantages and or privileges I've had because of the color of my skin that I won't even be aware that I've had.
Right.
Something as simple as like applying for a job and getting an interview, and me just thinking that I turned in my resume and they called me back for an interview, but maybe like had my skin a different color, like, and I have no way of ever knowing that.
Right.
So that's just unknowable. But also, I did not grow up in like the country club life. I did not very, very, very modest, very modest upbringing. You know, parents worked very hard. I got my first job at 15 and just have worked ever since. Like, it's not like that country club sweater tied around your neck lifestyle is just not a thing that's there, but it has been something that's been like attributed to me in the past, especially because now, like, as an adult, I'm a little bit fussy. I do have nice stuff now, and do have like a nice quality of life and things, and people kind of look at that and go like, well, you must have just had that
the
forever.
whole time, right?
And those are definitely misconceptions. There's also weird misconceptions that have happened to me as a white man, where other white people who are very happy about being white assume I am also very happy about being white.
What do you mean?
Okay, I had nothing to do with the fact of gender, skin, whatever. I had nothing to do with it. It just happened to me. So it is what it is. But there are some people who they just have a lot of pride in their whiteness,
yeah,
for lack of a better term. Especially in like where I originally grew up, there was kind of a lot of that. And it wouldn't be uncommon to be somewhere, not necessarily like just in my house or something, but like, I don't know, if you're in like a mechanic shop waiting somewhere, or a lot of waiting. Like this happens a lot in like waiting rooms and waiting areas, where you'll just be sitting there and then someone else shows up that you've never seen in your life, and suddenly they just start saying really terrible racist things to you that they think you agree with because of how you look, and you don't agree with them at all. It's really scary, and it's super uncomfortable, and that has happened so many times.
I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people. Okay, first of all, I pride myself in being very open-minded, and I'm a very curious person. So, and I believe that just because you disagree with me or think differently, you know, I try not to hold that against you or anything like that. And I've had multiple people cry while talking to me because I make them feel so comfortable and open that they can, you know, talk about things that are so personal. I've had that like for most of my adult life. Like I can't tell you how many clients and like people have told. Just,
no, I get it.
Yeah, you know this. Like I don't know what it is about me, but I don't know. People really like telling me their life stories. Anyway, because of that, because I make people feel so comfortable, you know, they've said things that I completely disagree with. And I will never, you know, unless you ask me for my opinion, I won't tell you. I'll just be like, oh, okay, yeah. But, you know, it's not like racist things, but it'll be like these Democrats, these, you know, the left. I guess a lot of it is political, or these millennials, you know.
Technology stuff. Oh, kids and their screens. And
yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
Oh, my God, that for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't say anything, but they're you know, trying to make conversation as if I'm going to agree, and I don't end up continuing the conversation
because
I have nothing to add.
Anyone, I guess maybe not anyone, but if you're talking to Heather or me, and it's a lot of us just going, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I will never.
It probably means that we're not on the same page.
See what I mean about like not confrontational? Like, there's no way in heck I would ever, like, if we disagree, if you're telling me your opinion and I disagree, I'm never gonna tell you.
I mean, there's a big difference between like
unless you asked,
if I saw a dude like belittling somebody else and like, you know, saying racist things to them, like, I don't know, cornering them somewhere or something. That's a different situation in terms of speaking up versus like I'm sitting in the oil change place and now this guy is like talking to me while I'm trying to just like shrink into the wall. There's, you know, I have nothing to gain by going like, actually, sir, you're misinformed. I'm not going to, no winning is going to happen there.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes you just got to be.
Okay. Hold on. Where are we? Not all white dudes. Let's see. Gary, hello.
Hi, Gary.
Where is that? Crazy purple blue Californian liberals.
That's
us.
Sure, we are the purple blues.
There are disappointingly few non-white people in this country. It's so funny because I'm never. I feel like this is a dangerous thing to say, like a naive thing to say, but I'm not aware of my race unless the situation makes me aware of it.
That's how it should be, though.
Yeah, it's not like I walk around like, hey, I'm Filipino, everybody, like, and you're not. There was one time where me and my former roommate, who is Indian, we walked into a country club, all white, and as soon as we walked in, it's like you could just feel everyone's heads like turn towards us, and it definitely made me feel aware of the brownness happening between us. And my roommate was like, "Oh my god, we are the only non-white people in here." And we were meeting up with a colleague of mine, but I don't know if they were. I tried to tell myself that they were looking at us because we are not part of the country club, and they know everyone else,
right?
But it's very hard to be like, we do not look like you guys,
right?
But otherwise, like, that's like the one time where I was aware of it. Luckily, thankfully, I haven't been in a situation.
I mean, and part of that is like growing up in a coastal state.
Yeah,
like it. There tends to be more like. I don't know. We don't need to get political. There tends to be more liberal attitudes in places where there's a larger mixing of cultures.
Look at this. That's funny.
What does it say, Ron? I'm crying right now, and I'm not even talking to him. It just happens. I know.
Let's see. Not vibing well with people I'm speaking to is very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, that's a thing. Like, I mean, I guess that's one of the reasons this show's so fun is because, like, in the chat and stuff, and it's just, there's just sort of that connection. It very much feels like even though you're already speaking, the same language of English, but now we're speaking the same language. We're on the same wavelength. But there's so many times you talk to other people, and it's just like, you can't, there's just a disconnect there. And it's nobody's fault. It's not even because there's anything wrong or the other person is saying anything bad. It's just, there's a disconnect for whatever reason. And that is I feel like I found myself in that situation just too many times. And but it's so refreshing when you meet people that you can just sort of like have a chat with. And
I feel like it could be anybody,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't, but
I mean, one of your closest friends is in their 70s.
Yeah.
And you guys get along. She would have been with you on that Vegas
and we are
night.
opposite sides of the political spectrum, probably. But I don't know. Conversely, the first and only time I went to the U.S., I was suddenly conscious that there were loads of non-white people around me. That had never happened before. It was eye-opening.
Interesting.
I mean, for sure, culture shock is a thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I was going to say this is very strange. And I don't know, but this is a safe space, maybe. I rarely find myself... Where were we? We were somewhere where you're like, how does it feel to be around other people that look like you? I don't remember where
that?
It was recent. We were somewhere. Where would we have traveled? There was something where it happened where we went where there were other white people, and it was like, I have no idea where this must have been. I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'm just dreaming it, but
I know I must have said that when it comes to like your genre on YouTube.
Oh, I mean, maybe it's something to do with that. But there have been a couple of times where I found myself in like, I don't know, events or whatever with like other white people, and I feel uncomfortable because I've never really been in that situation. But then it's also like I don't feel like I fit in when I don't speak the same language as like half the people in my community. And, we had different upbringing, stuff like that. So I also then I feel more comfortable not fitting in there than I do not fitting in with like the other people who look like me.
This is Tom. He feels like he doesn't belong anywhere.
I feel like I belong right here with all of you.
Let's see. James, I probably felt more misconceptions about being gay than being Asian minority.
You just have the like jackpot of things to have misconceptions about.
Yeah. I can't
can't
even imagine.
This is not the same thing at all, but historically, it hasn't happened so much since we've been married, but historically people are sometimes confused about where I fall.
What did James say? Are you on our side?
Oh yeah,
Or
like that. Like pretty much the day I met James and Mark, James was like, "Tom, like, are you on our team or something?"
Straight up, I hella thought you were gay. I totally thought Tom was gay the first time we met because he was freaking wearing his rainbow watch band. Like, what am I supposed to think?
Which the thing
There's
is,
nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying.
actually this watch band I'm wearing right now is the 2020
I had to
Pride
figure
watch
out
band.
the attraction I had. Like, am I allowed to feel this way? I don't know.
Okay, so having worked with many like LGBTQ students over the years, I just understand that a lot of them are in places where they don't feel safe, and so I kind of
No, I know why.
I'm just explaining. I go out of my way to go like, look, well, I don't care. Like, I truly just don't care. It's of no consequence to me. Like, I just want you to be happy and healthy. But sometimes, especially when you're dealing with adolescents, you kind of need to like have a little flag pop up that's like, if you need something, like if somebody's chasing you to hurt you, you can come here,
Right.
and it will be okay. And those things are very important. And there's been enough times over the years where students after the fact have told me that little things like that just made a huge difference at difficult times in their lives. But the alternative to that, well, aside from just the fact of like a lot of just who I am as a person, people sometimes wonder like, hey, you're not like the most stereotypically manly dude ever. And then I also don't go out of my way to correct anybody either, because I don't care. I feel like it would be very disingenuous to go like, it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. And then if someone says, Tom, are you gay? Oh, God, no. God, no, not me. Are you kidding? That feels like that would be wrong or not.
Well, I was, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, you didn't ask because we weren't
it's not like
we weren't
are you
on a
gay?
date or anything. We were
In your
talking
classroom.
about school, but
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't go out of my way to correct anything like that because it doesn't matter.
Next year, meet up in Ireland. It'll be terrific. Honest, I am 100% down.
That would be terrific.
Yeah.
We never try. We're about to go on.
Oh,
lockdown
okay.
again
See,
here.
this is what I wanted to ask.
What misconceptions for James and Mark?
If you would love to, if you want to elaborate.
Yeah, don't.
I
feel
saw your rainbow
obligated.
watch and got confused.
Yeah, but also the thing is, those watch bands are super cool.
They are really cool.
Yeah.
This just complicates the relationship story. That's funny. Me with my partner, I thought he was 2, but turns out we are both the same. Let's see. I guess the misconception came from a good place. I wanted to find a way to connect with you. Same with when you were in a waiting room and the white supremacist wants to buddy up with you.
I'll take the bar with James instead, though.
I wear rainbow watch and sometimes too I show support. And sometimes to show support. And yes, I thought Tom was gay at first too because, well, he was so nice, which in itself is a silly, stupid misconception.
I mean, maybe it just says a lot of things for the gay community. If you're like, you're nice and put together, you must be gay. Like,
I know, right? So you guys are nice and put together.
but I mean, that's the same thing goes with like, you're Asian, you're really good at math. It's like,
I'm hella not good at math, yo.
but I mean, like, but how does that feel then when you're like, well, that's not like a bad thing for people to think, but also like it isn't necessarily true. Like, I'm not the automatic tip calculator.
Let's see. When people see me, they say I am too manly because I sound like Vin Diesel and I'm a hairy guy.
That's a problem I've never had.
Let's see. Probably the number one thing is that it is practically impossible for a gay man to be only with one person. So when I tell people I've been with my husband for 14 years, they're like, how? It's been 14 years. Wow, that's cool.
That is, I guess, the like stereotype of like promiscuity and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is like as if straight people aren't also promiscuous.
Yeah.
Or, like, it's just so, that's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I saw you glance at the last comment. She did a double take.
What else? Are we good? How are we doing? Well, how about you guys? Do you have any other misconceptions about groups that you identify with that you want to share? It doesn't have to be race. I know we went on that for a while, but
I mean, that's just such an obvious one. You're like race and politics, the things you're like not supposed to talk about, but
yeah. I mean, I've mentioned it before, but girl gamer.
Oh, yeah.
It's not as bad. And I'm not as like, I'm not like playing online like I used to. So.
Oh, but here's a very silly one for me is people think I'm obsessed with phones because YouTube and tech and cameras things. And I like really don't care about phones.
Yeah.
I get a new phone every 3 years and that's about it.
And I don't care about
I like my phone. Like I
don't
really
look at the updates or anything.
I like it and it's a cool color and it's great. And when a new one comes out, I get excited about the new things it can do, but I am not like a phone guy.
Can you think of a time when you had a misconception about someone and then met someone of that group and like they changed, they like opened up your perspective or whatever? Oh, I have one.
Okay.
This is so random.
Okay.
So like drug addicts.
Okay.
I met a drug addict once.
Me too. A couple of times.
And I have this like, that they're bad people. They make bad decisions. The addiction is like there for a reason or whatever. But I realize there's definitely a lot more to it that's not in their
layers,
control.
Nuance.
Layers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. To kind of build off of that then, drinking. Not a thing I'm huge on. It's the same reason I don't drink coffee. Like I just never got into it. I never built up the habit. Same thing with drinking alcohol. I've known and experienced people in my life having very, very negative relationships with it. So it really just sort of turned me away from it. And then I met this one.
Gosh.
Who?
Okay, first of all,
No.
don't drink as much anymore.
I'm not, but the thing was, I got really like genuinely, I don't know if like anxious, I guess would be the right word. Like the first few times, I mean, when like Drunk Heather came out.
I know.
Which Drunk Heather's very nice. She's just loud.
She's real loud.
She's very loud, but she's
loud.
super nice. She's not like mean or violent or emotional or anything like that. She's just very loud, but she's very, very fun.
Very excited.
And that was a thing though, like if you want to like break down misconceptions, because I had only known, the kind of drinking that the people I knew did. And then you and like your friend group, you guys would drink and then you would have fun and then you would like have jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And you would drink and then you would like still be nice to me and stuff. Mm-hmm. Huh. So those were some misconceptions where it was like, oh, look.
That's an interesting one.
This thing isn't just pure evil.
Yeah, because I've never known anyone to have a negative relationship with alcohol.
I've only known, prior to meeting you, only negative.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's still definitely like, I do still have discomfort of it, but
right.
I'm less, so.
You want a drink, babe? I'm just kidding. Let's see. What is this?
Mike Marquez.
Mike, I once had a girl who was super hot but was stuck up, be interested in me. I never paid her any mind, and one day she asked me if I was gay because I didn't pay her attention. Oh my gosh.
That's an interesting one. That's the only reason you must not be into her is because.
Oh boy.
Wow. That's an interesting one. Here's Jessica's digital artist one. Tom talked about this, but when clients ask you to make small changes, it'll take up a whole work day and they expect you to get done with that. The next hour is very stressful. Yeah, there's no, like people know, okay, if you're a lawyer, you're going to charge by that hour and people are going to kind of stick in, okay, it's 4:59 right now. Can we go 5 minutes over? I just have one other thing. But if you're any kind of artist or creative field, people they either don't know because they just really don't know. It's genuine ignorance. Or there's just the misconception of like, you're just having fun on the computer. And, it's kind of like YouTube stuff. Like, oh, it must be so you just upload videos and get those paychecks and that's it. It's not necessarily the case.
It's not how it works. All right. A friend of mine has been in a long-term relationship with his husband. I never had the nerve to ask if they're monogamous. I never asked a straight couple that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah.
People think we bargain too much while shopping. They are right. It's not a misconception. That's funny.
It's too see.
I'm more disappointed when people live up to stereotypes.
Yeah, that's true.
I I also dislike how prominent free work is still going around where clients tell you it's to help the community, but I don't get much return exposure.
Yeah. This will open up doors for you. This will like so much more work will come in. You're like, but this should be work. It'll open up doors to other non-paying jobs. Philip says he didn't drink coffee till he's 36. So maybe next year.
Maybe you'll like it.
It's not that I don't like coffee. It's just I never got in the habit. So it's just not part of my routine. And
It's not really a habit for me either.
But it's also like the couple times that I will have just coffee, I get so shaky and nervous and jittery. And one of my first jobs was at a coffee shop. And I had to try all the coffees and I really started
that's
shaking.
right.
They were just opening and we had to put their logo stickers on all the cups because the shop was brand new. So just thousands of stickers on thousands of cups. And I was like shaking and they're all crooked and stuff.
Like Tom, I don't drink mostly because people I was around when I was younger had unhealthy relationships with booze. My current partner has a much healthier relationship with them.
So many similar parallels there.
Yeah.
Could be an Irish thing.
Let's see. I don't like drinking much either. My body has a very strong response against it because of bad times in college. I'm kind of glad because no beer belly. But I think a lot of misconceptions with digital artists is how little people value the work that goes into it. I was recently approached with this offer for a super intricate poster for only $50.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve said, once a hot girl asked me out, and then I woke up with a fast heartbeat and sweaty forehead. Nice. That's funny.
So there you go.
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was terrific.
Misconceptions of people who work in nonprofit. We're all volunteers.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Oh my God. You're so noble.
You're in it for the outcome, not the income.
I've never heard that.
Oh, that's what like people will say to the teachers union when we argue for salaries and stuff. It's like, no, it's for the income. Yeah. And outcome too, but
It's both.
yeah, it's all of the above, but also I need the income.
All right.
I have one last question to wrap it up.
Okay, what's up?
Because we have
right
behind you, you've got a corgi curled up, and there we had our other lovely corgi, Ollie.
Yes.
And prior to meeting Ollie, you didn't like corgis.
I did not like corgis.
Why didn't you like corgis?
Because the corgi, okay, so here's me being hella judgmental. I'll be the first to admit this, but I felt like every corgi owner was so freaking proud of being a corgi owner. Like they had a separate Instagram page for the damn corgi. They had photo shoots. Like every post was about corgis. And I was like, I never want to be this like crazy corgi person. I get it.
We just hung
I'm
up
sorry.
a new portrait of our corgi puppy right before this stream started.
Yes, I get it.
Ron has corgi questions. What is? Oh, there, James and Mark talking about the nonprofit.
You think the sushi boat mukbang is gonna pay for itself? Bish.
Need that profit. And then Mark showed up just to LOL at that.
You guys, if you want to know who the Mark is in James and Mark, that's him. Mark Lee. Now they're both here. Yay.
Hooray.
So when I think of corgis, I think of the ones the Queen and my grandmother had. Is that?
I mean, the Queen's corgi. I forget how many she's had over the
She's
years.
like 20 something.
Yeah, I believe, I could be wrong, she doesn't have any anymore because as she's getting older, she didn't want to get new ones she wanted to outlive her corgis.
Yes. His pic is so handsome. It is very handsome. This is funny.
All righty. Well,
what should we talk about next, guys? You have suggestions for
that's what the
future
Discord
topics?
is for.
Yes.
So link in the description to the...
You didn't check the Discord all week.
I checked it a couple times. I'm just... it's like one of my favorite things when stuff is happening in there, but I also just like forget to keep checking it. But I've also been trying to learn how to set up my own Discord too.
Oh, here's a good one. I guess I'm problematic because I have misconceptions as well. How Heather felt about corgi owners are similar to how I feel about Disneyland pass holders or Apple users.
I mean, the Disneyland one, there could be a lot of truth to those ones. The Apple one, though, here's what I'll say, because I have several friends who are rabid anti-Apple people. And I truly just don't care, especially now. It's 2020. Everything's great. Have whatever phone or computer you want. I don't care. I like Apple products. I have reasons for liking them. They work really well for me. Lots of reasons that I like them. But I have several friends who are just so staunch anti-Apple. And even to this day in 2020, their reasons for being anti-Apple are like, it's like the thing that got into their brain in 2003 or 2004 or something. And it just like solidified. And that's their reason for like never. And I don't care if you don't like the product or not, but it's like, you might want to just take a look at like this other world over here. Like sometimes I'll peek into the Windows world, the PC world, just to kind of know like, well, am I missing, is there something super cool over here that I'm totally missing out on? And sometimes it's worth to do that. I'll just say that. But it's funny like how like it just solidified.
I don't consider myself like an Apple fanatic. It just like I'm not a fan of Apple. I just use their products.
A fan of a trillion-dollar corporation.
Like there is a spectrum though. Like I know the people who are like crazy Apple people, which is fine. That's cool. Like I have
a fan of a sports team.
Yeah, fan of a brand. I have plenty of brands.
Bald Bearded Builder said the Discord link is expired, so we need to
put
a new
link in
the description.
My bad.
And Ron said, I feel like being anti-Apple is some people's excuse for personality. I mean, there's other ones like I've heard. There's a YouTube channel I watch, which is all about like restoring electronics, restoring computers and stuff like that. And the guy who runs it, he's great, but he went on a whole thing about AirPods a while ago because he was trying to restore, and they're basically like irreparable. And all he needed to do, he could fix like anything, and he kind of got them working again, but he had to destroy a few things. All he was trying to do was change the battery, and so he went on a long thing about like, this is a company that's talking about being good for the environment, that's taking care of all that kind of stuff, and literally these, $200 headphones that are filled with like precious metals and not environmentally friendly materials. You can't even change the battery once the battery goes bad in them. If you could change the battery, you could use them for years and years and years and years, but now you can't, so you just have to throw them away after 2 years. And I was like, yeah, that's so then his thing is like he's not into Apple products for reasons like that. So
right,
people have
that's different.
their reasons
for
things.
Right.
Can you read that?
That's Korean, I'm pretty sure. Actually, Mark, can you verify? That is not Japanese.
Ron said being anti-anything seems like a weird thing to be. I'd rather be for stuff.
What does this say?
I'm for
Google Translate.
I'm for being anti things.
That's like too many layers. Anti. Okay, well, we're wrapping up. So I'm excited. I filmed 3 videos today. And this is the freaking 4th.
Yeah, because
I'm so tired.
Heather is in the middle of a 31-day upload challenge, which is on day 3 already. Has inspired lots of other people to join in.
I know, which is so cool.
Yeah.
So if you guys are following along, definitely check out the other people who are, who have joined the craziness to do this as well. Aubrey's someone. Ben Tolson.
The dog? Our dog, Ben.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, they asked what kind of channel is this? Korean. I feel very proud of that. Look, see, I can like tell.
Yeah, no, it's great.
You know what you can really tell? Thai. Oh my God. It like nothing else looks like Thai. I can see how you can think that like Chinese, Japanese, and Korean can look the same. Thai though.
Philip just said
I thought yesterday's vlog was great. Me too. I really liked that one.
We didn't answer Ron's corgi questions.
Oh, there's 2 corgis. There's a Pembroke Welsh corgi, and then there's the cardigan corgi. I was like, the sweater is
they're actually like super different, even though they're corgis and they look similar. They're not.
But we have the same one as the queen.
We have the Pembrokes. Yeah, but both of our corgis have had tails.
Yes, which is
which is crazy because the tail is such a huge personality.
Yeah, and like it's like normal for corgis to get their tails cut off, which is so sad.
It seems like it's starting to be, at least outside of the U.S., it's really common for them to be left on now.
Yes, circles. That's the thing about Korean. You love the circles. Sorry.
In the U.S., it's still part of like the breed standard to dock the tail, but it seems like more and more breeders and things are leaving the tails on because if it's not a working dog. There's no reason not to.
You should do a vlog.
I'm not a vlogger though. I don't have like.
Look at his face. You guys see this? His face immediately like.
I just don't have the.
You
urge.
just like had an adverse reaction.
Yeah. If anything, what I would like to do is incorporate vlog elements into my videos, but I don't have the
on
urge.
my channel. So that way you don't have to put it on your channel.
It's not even about putting on a channel. It's like I just don't have the urge to like vlog.
Urge.
The thing that I think of when I think of vlogging the best are my Nashville vlogs, because that was like. I made one every day for like 5 or 6 days while I was on this trip, and it was so much fun, and I loved that. I would do that. Was the best.
Why can't you do something like that?
I don't know. I mean, that was also just like a short burst of like, I
mean,
was alone in Nashville for a week. Like, what am I going to do? You what?
I didn't say anything.
I think it's something about 31.
31. I said I'm not asking you to do 31 videos.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, my channel has turned into, and I mean this in a good way, but its own full-time job.
Okay, so here's where we're end. Last night before we were going to bed, Tom was like, I'm so proud of you, babe. Like, it's so great that you're doing this. And I could feel the energy. And look how many people that you've helped already. Like,
she had multiple people make videos and say they made videos because of her.
Yeah. And like, okay, first of all, Tom is the most supportive partner I could ever ask for. He's like my number one cheerleader. He literally like, he bought me my Sony ZV-1. He's always down to like be in the vlog, even in his PJs. Like he's so supportive. So I definitely don't doubt that for a second. But as he was like, yeah, look how many people that you've helped. He whipped out his iPad and there were like an endless scroll amount of comments on his YouTube channel. And he's telling me, look at all the people that you helped.
I didn't rub it. I just opened my iPad and it was the lock screen like, notification.
I was like, you literally have hundreds of comments, which is cool. But it just, in that moment, I was like,
you know what? But that's very different from someone to say, numbers. Yeah, cool vid, thumbs up, versus like I made and posted a video.
No, I know.
I mean, geez.
I know.
It's all good things. It's all very positive.
That was
things.
funny though.
Except for the person who told me I needed to stick behind the camera because I didn't have what it takes to be in front of the camera. They said my jokes are really bad. They know what I'm trying to do, but like give it up and I should be behind the camera and I don't have what it takes to be an on-screen personality.
Why did I just get notified for the stream? You only got it right now? We're about to end, Andrew. What's going on? Vlog your Ireland 2021 trip. Okay, so the thing is, Ron, we have to go to Japan first.
Can we stop over?
Heather needs to hear it again. Comparison.
Louder for the people in the back.
Are you making fun of me?
No.
Oh, I always say that.
I know, but that's like a thing, and people always do the emoji, the clapping emoji.
Oh boy! All right, let's go play Zelda.
This is fun. It is time to clear the table. So thanks, you guys. It's super fun.
This was so much fun.
I always look forward to our Thursday night couples table.
Yeah,
time.
me too.
Yeah.
So if you have any suggestions for future topics, let us know in the comments. And if you're still here and haven't hit that thumbs up button, do it.
We will update the Discord link as well because that's a fun place to share
Hang
stuff
out with us.
The week. Yes.
All right.
Adios.
Bye, guys. See you later. Have a good one.